Welcome to Stairway to English. Today, we explore how creating basic sentences can open the door to real fluency and confident communication. Let's begin your journey with clarity, focus, and steady progress. Episode 1. The First Step. Why Simple Sentences Matter. When people start learning a new language, they often feel confused, lost, or even embarrassed. They want to speak perfectly from the beginning. They want long, beautiful sentences, impressive vocabulary, and perfect grammar. But language does not grow like that. Language grows slowly, step by step, just like a plant growing from a small seed. And that seed is the simple sentence. This is why learning English starts with something small, honest, and manageable. Your journey begins with short sentences that express your basic ideas clearly. Many learners try to start with big, complicated structures because they believe complexity equals progress. But the truth is the opposite. Complexity without foundation creates frustration. A learner who tries to run before walking will fall and feel hopeless. But a learner who shapes simple sentences learns how the language moves, breathes, and connects ideas. Even native speakers use simple sentences every day because clarity is more important than complexity. This is why starting simple is the smartest strategy. When you build simple sentences, you learn the real core of English. You learn how subjects and verbs work together. You learn how actions, feelings, and ideas are expressed in the most natural way. I want water. She feels tired. They understand the problem. These are not childish sentences. They are essential tools. They are the words you use when you need something, feel something, or think something. These sentences help you survive in a conversation without fear and without confusion. Another important point is this. Simple sentences build confidence. Confidence is not something that suddenly appears. It grows as you see yourself succeeding in small steps. When you say a simple sentence and someone understands you, that moment creates a small victory. And small victories shape a strong belief in yourself. You start thinking, I can do this. And when that thought becomes part of your mindset, everything changes. Language becomes lighter, easier, and more enjoyable. Simple sentences also help your brain stay relaxed. When you try to use long structures, your brain becomes stressed. Stress blocks learning. Stress disconnects your thoughts. But when you use short and clear sentences, your mind stays calm. And a calm mind learns faster, remembers more, and feels more free to express ideas. This is why many teachers and successful learners say, keep it simple at the beginning. They know that simplicity is not weakness. It is the strongest foundation you can build. Think about great writers, speakers, and leaders. Many of them use simple, powerful sentences to express deep ideas. Time is short. Life is change. We need hope. These are not complex sentences, yet they carry strong meaning. This shows us that simplicity does not limit expression. Instead, it sharpens it. And when you learn English, your goal is not to sound complicated. Your goal is to be understood, to connect, and to express yourself with confidence. Simplicity helps you achieve exactly that. Let's imagine two learners. The first learner tries to speak with long, difficult sentences. He feels stress. He forgets words. He becomes nervous. He feels like he is failing because he is trying to do too much too early. The second learner uses simple sentences. He speaks clearly. He feels comfortable. He builds each idea step by step. After some time, the second learner becomes stronger, more fluent, and more natural. Why? Because he respected the process. He allowed himself to learn slowly and correctly. Learning English is not a race. It is a long journey, and every journey begins with a small step. Simple sentences are that step. They are easy to build, easy to remember, and easy to use. When you repeat them, your brain forms strong patterns. These patterns create fluency. Fluency does not come from using complicated words. It comes from using simple words naturally and confidently. So start with small structures. Don't be ashamed of them. Don't hide them. Celebrate them. They are proof that you are learning in a smart and effective way. Your goal at this level is not to impress others with big grammar. Your goal is to express your ideas, thoughts, and feelings without fear. When you master simple sentences, you gain the power to communicate anytime, anywhere, with anyone. Start your journey with the sentence you need right now. I can learn. Say it clearly. Say it with belief. Because with simple sentences, you are not just learning English, you are building your foundation for everything that comes next. Episode 2. Building Confidence Through Small, Everyday Expressions. When you begin forming simple sentences, something important starts happening inside your mind. You begin to feel a small rise in confidence. It is not loud or dramatic, it is quiet but powerful. You begin to realize that English is not a wall you must break, it is a path you can walk. With every short sentence you create, your steps become more stable. This is why simple sentences are not just a tool for communication, they are instruments for confidence building. And confidence is the energy that moves you forward. Many learners struggle because they think English requires big words and advanced grammar. They believe they must sound perfect to be respected or understood. This belief creates fear, and fear stops progress. But when you use simple sentences in daily life, you give yourself permission to make mistakes without shame. You allow yourself to practice without pressure. You start understanding that language is not about perfection, it is about connection. Everyday life gives you thousands of chances to practice simple expressions. When you wake up, you can say, I feel tired, or I am ready for today. When you eat breakfast, you can say, I like this, or this tastes good. When you look outside your window, you can say, the weather is cold, or the sky is beautiful. These sentences seem small, but they train your mind to think in English. Thinking in English is one of the strongest habits you can build. The more you use simple sentences, the more natural the language becomes. Your brain starts forming automatic patterns. These patterns help you speak without translating every word. Translation slows your progress and creates confusion. But simple sentences allow your brain to process English directly. When you experience English instead of translating it, your fluency grows like a tree taking root in healthy soil. Confidence grows from repetition. You do not need 30 difficult sentences. You need 5 simple ones that you use every day. I want this. I need help. I don't understand. Please repeat. This is good. These small sentences give you control in conversations. They help you survive, communicate, and stay calm. And when you are calm, you learn faster. Calm learners stay motivated, and motivated learners improve. One of the most powerful things about using simple sentences is that they reduce fear. Fear is the enemy of language learning. Fear tells you you will make a mistake or people will laugh. But when your sentences are small, you don't feel overwhelmed. You feel free. You know that even if you say something imperfect, your message will still be understood. And the moment you realize people understand you, your confidence rises like a flame that refuses to go out. Another benefit of simple expressions is that they are repeatable. Repetition is the mother of fluency. When you repeat a simple sentence many times, it becomes part of you. You don't need to think. You don't need to search for words. The sentence flows naturally. And when language becomes natural, communication becomes enjoyable. You begin to speak with more emotion, more energy, and more honesty. Think about children learning their first language. They start with very basic sentences. They say, I want milk. I go now. You come? These sentences are not grammatically perfect, but they work. They communicate meaning. And because children feel no shame, they learn extremely fast. As an adult learner, you can use the same strategy. You can build your language through natural, everyday sentences that feel real and necessary. You can also use simple sentences to describe your feelings. Emotional language helps you build deeper communication skills. When you say, I am stressed, I feel happy, I am confused, or I am excited, you connect English with your inner world. This makes the language more meaningful. When language feels meaningful, your brain remembers it longer and learns it deeper. Simple emotional sentences help you build a strong relationship with English. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you create. And the easiest way to create it is by using simple sentences again and again. Every time you speak, you are telling yourself, I can communicate. And that belief becomes stronger until it becomes part of your identity. Once you believe you can communicate, you stop fearing mistakes. You stop worrying about judgment. You stop comparing yourself to others. You focus on your own growth. So continue creating simple sentences throughout your day. Use them when you think, when you speak, when you feel something, and when you observe something. Each simple sentence is a tiny victory, a tiny step, a tiny light. And all these lights together guide you towards larger, stronger, more complex expressions with time. Confidence does not come from waiting. It comes from speaking, even in the smallest ways. And the more you speak simply, the more your English becomes a natural part of your life. Episode 3: Expanding Simple Sentences into Real Communication. When you begin to feel comfortable with simple sentences, something important happens inside your mind. You start wanting to express more. You start wanting to say more details, more feelings, and more ideas. This desire is natural, and it is a clear sign of progress. But here is the key. You do not jump suddenly from simple sentences to long, complicated structures. Instead, you expand your simple sentences step by step. This is how real communication is built, slowly, naturally, and with purpose. Expanding simple sentences is like adding small blocks to a solid foundation. If the foundation is strong, the building grows safely. But if the foundation is weak, the building falls. Simple sentences give you that foundation. They help you create strong structures in your mind so that when you add more information, everything stays clear and stable. Let's begin with the first step, adding small details. For example, the simple sentence, "I am tired," can become, "I am tired today." Then it becomes, "I am tired today because I worked a lot." Then it becomes, "I am tired today because I worked a lot at the office." You can see how a simple sentence grows naturally, becoming more expressive and more meaningful. You are not jumping into complex grammar. You are simply adding small pieces of information that feel comfortable. Details make your speech richer. They help the listener understand your thoughts, your environment, and your experiences. But you do not need advanced grammar for details. You just need simple additions like because, and, but, when, after, before, or so. These small connecting words act like bridges. They guide your meaning from one idea to another, helping you express yourself more completely. Another way to grow your simple sentences is by adding descriptions. For example, "The weather is cold" can become, "The weather is cold and dark." Then you can add personal experience. "The weather is cold and dark, and it makes me feel sleepy." Suddenly, the sentence becomes a small story. This shows how easy it is to turn simple language into deeper communication. Storytelling begins with simple sentences. Many language learners don't realize this. They think stories must be long, poetic, and complex. But every strong story begins with basic sentences that explain what happened, when it happened, and how you felt about it. For example, "I walked to the store. It was quiet. I felt peaceful. I saw an old friend. We talked for a little while." These are all simple sentences, but together they create movement, emotion, and narrative. Simple sentences help you avoid fear when telling stories, because when the sentences are short, you don't feel lost. You don't forget where you are in the story. You don't struggle with big grammar. You just describe one moment, then another, then another. And before you realize it, you have communicated something meaningful. Another way simple sentences become powerful is through conversation. Real conversations are not full of long, formal sentences. Most people speak simply, even native speakers. If you listen carefully, you will hear people say short expressions all the time. "Really? Are you sure? That's good. I don't know. Tell me more." These are basic sentences, but they are essential for interaction. They help you sound natural and confident. When you expand simple sentences in conversation, you can add your thoughts slowly. For example, someone asks, "How was your day?" You can start with, "My day was good." Then expand. "My day was good because I finished my work early." Then Add a detail. My day was good because I finished my work early and went for a walk. This is a smooth, natural expansion. You are not forcing yourself to sound advanced. You are letting your thoughts grow at a comfortable pace. Simple expansions also help with listening skills. When you speak in controlled, simple sentences, the listener understands you more easily. And when people understand you, they respond to you with kindness, patience, and interest. This positive interaction builds your confidence and motivates you to continue practicing. You can also expand your simple sentences with feelings. Many learners ignore feelings because they think emotional language is complicated. But it doesn't have to be. You can say, I feel happy. I feel happy and relaxed. I feel happy and relaxed because I finally finished an important task. Your feelings become clearer and more expressive one small step at a time. Another powerful tool for expanding simple sentences is asking questions. Questions help you continue a conversation and help you practice grammar naturally. Ask things like, why? When? How? What happened? Simple questions open long conversations, even if your own answers stay short. Asking questions shows confidence and interest, and it helps you practice more listening and speaking. The goal of expanding simple sentences is not to create perfect grammar. The goal is to create communication that feels natural, expressive, and true to who you are. When you expand slowly, you learn how ideas connect. You learn how your mind works in English. And this understanding becomes the foundation for fluency. Remember, every long, beautiful sentence begins with a small one. Every story begins with one simple moment. And every confident learner begins by speaking clearly and simply. From those small steps, your English ability grows stronger, wider, and more meaningful every day. Episode 4. Building confidence through repetition and real-life use. When you start learning English, one of the biggest challenges is confidence. Many learners feel nervous when they try to speak, even if they know the words and understand the grammar. This fear is completely normal. But confidence does not come from knowing every rule or every vocabulary item. Real confidence grows from using simple sentences again and again until speaking feels natural. In this episode, we focus on repetition and real-life use and how these two powerful habits can make your English stronger and more automatic. Many people think repetition is boring. They imagine sitting at a desk, saying the same sentence 20 times, and feeling sleepy. But repetition does not have to be mechanical or uninteresting. It can be active, creative, and meaningful. When you repeat sentences in different situations, your brain builds strong connections. These connections help you remember without effort. For example, if you start with a simple sentence like, I need water, you can repeat it in new contexts. You can say it when you wake up in the morning, when you go to the gym, when you are outside on a hot day, or when you cook dinner. Every context gives the sentence new meaning, and you become more comfortable using it naturally. Repetition is most effective when it includes small variations. Instead of saying the same line again and again, make small changes. You can change the subject, the verb, the object, or the time expression. For example, I need water. You need water. We need water today. I need cold water. They need more water. I need water before I run. These small changes teach your brain flexibility. Now you are not memorizing a single fixed sentence. You are learning how English works. You are learning how to express the same idea in different ways. This is one of the most powerful skills for real communication. Another important method is speaking out loud, even when you are alone. Many learners spend years reading and listening, but they almost never speak. Speaking requires practice, just like playing a musical instrument or a sport. You cannot expect to speak smoothly if you have never used your voice. Try reading simple sentences out loud every day. It can be as short as 5 minutes. You can read stories, short passages, or your own example sentences. When you say the words, your mouth learns the sound, your ears learn the rhythm, and your mind becomes more confident. Over time, your pronunciation becomes smoother, and your sentences begin to flow. Once repetition becomes a daily habit, the next step is real-life use. Many learners wait too long for the perfect moment. They think they must reach a high level before speaking to real people. But perfection never comes first. Real-life speaking is one of the fastest ways to improve your English. You do not need long conversations. Start with small moments. Say, "Hello, how are you?" Or "Have a nice day" to someone. Order food in English, if possible. Send a short English message to a friend who also wants to learn. These small actions build the foundation for bigger communication in the future. Real-life situations also teach you how people naturally respond. For example, you may practice the sentence, "Can I have a coffee?" at home many times. But when you say it to a real barista, they may answer, "Sure, what size?" Or, "Of course, anything else?" These responses may surprise you at first, but they show you how English is truly used. Even if you do not understand every word, the interaction helps your brain adapt. With each real exchange, your confidence grows. It is also helpful to keep a small list of your favorite simple sentences. These sentences become your personal starter kit. They are easy to remember, easy to adapt, and easy to use anywhere. For example, "I think this is good. I want to learn more. I don't understand this part. I can try again. This is difficult, but I can do it." When you repeat these sentences often, they become automatic. Automatic sentences reduce stress when speaking because your brain does not need to search for words. You already have them ready. Another powerful technique is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a short sentence and repeating it immediately with the same rhythm and tone. This technique trains your speaking muscles and improves your listening at the same time. You can shadow sentences from movies, podcasts, or English learning videos. Start with short lines. Listen, pause, repeat. Then listen again, but this time repeat at the same time as the speaker. You will notice that your pronunciation becomes clearer and more confident. Repetition becomes even stronger when combined with emotions. If a sentence makes you laugh, smile, think deeply, or feel motivated, your brain remembers it faster. You can create your own emotional sentences. For example, "I feel proud of myself today. I can learn something new every day. This small step helps me grow." Or, "I am stronger than yesterday." Practice these sentences when you need motivation. They not only improve your English, but also support your mindset. Confidence is not something you wait for, it is something you build slowly. Every repeated sentence, every small conversation, every simple line spoken out loud becomes another brick in your foundation. And because you started with simple sentences, the process feels natural instead of stressful. When you use simple language with confidence, people understand you easily. Communication becomes smooth, and your motivation grows. With daily repetition and real-life use, your English becomes active instead of passive. You stop translating in your head. You start thinking directly in English. You begin to trust your ability to create sentences in the moment. And most importantly, you feel proud of your progress. Even if the steps are small, each step is a victory. Episode 5: Turning Simple Sentences into a Personal English System. When learners begin with simple sentences, they often see them as small tools for practice. They repeat them, they use them in daily life, and they slowly build confidence. But simple sentences can become something much larger. They can turn into a personal English system, a structure you create for yourself to guide your growth, support your thinking, and help you communicate clearly in real situations. In this final episode, we explore how simple sentences become the foundation of a flexible, powerful system that will support your English for many years. A personal English system starts with awareness. You must know what you actually need. Many learners try to study everything at once, every tense, every grammar rule, every vocabulary list. But a system becomes strong when it is focused. Think about your daily life and your goals. Do you need English for conversations, for travel, for work, for meeting new people, for watching videos or reading books? When you know your purpose, you can choose the simple sentences that matter most to you. For example, if your main goal is daily conversation, sentences like, "I think this is better," "What do you mean?" and "Can you say that again?" are more useful than advanced academic expressions. Your system becomes meaningful when it matches your life. The next step is organizing your sentences into small groups. You can divide them by themes, such as daily activities, feelings, opinions, needs, questions, or time expressions. When your sentences are grouped, you can practice them more efficiently. For instance, in the opinions group, you might keep sentences like, "I like this," "I don't like that," "I am not sure," "I think this will help," or "This is interesting." These simple lines allow you to express your thoughts quickly. And when you practice one group at a time, your brain builds strong connections, making the language more automatic. Another important part of your system is upgrading your sentences over time. You do not need to jump from simple English to complex English in one step. You can grow slowly in small layers. For example, start with, "I like this." Later, expand it to, "I like this because it helps me learn." Then, when you feel ready, upgrade again. "I like this because it helps me learn faster and makes the process more enjoyable." This step-by-step growth trains your brain to expand ideas naturally. Instead of memorizing long sentences, you build them from smaller, familiar pieces. This skill is extremely valuable in real conversation. A personal English system also requires consistent review. Language is a skill, not a memory test. You must return to your sentences regularly so they stay fresh. One helpful method is a weekly rotation. On Monday, review your daily activity sentences. On Tuesday, review your opinion sentences. On Wednesday, review your question sentences, and so on. This rotation keeps your system alive. It prevents your knowledge from becoming passive. You stay active and your English stays sharp. Using your system in real situations is the next essential step. Your sentences must not stay on paper or in your notebook. They must become a living part of your communication. Every day, choose 3 or 4 sentences from your system and intentionally try to use them. If your goal is conversation, use them when you speak to someone. If your goal is writing, use them in messages or short journal entries. Even a single sentence used in real life has more power than 10 sentences you only read silently. Real use strengthens your system more than anything else. One of the most valuable parts of your system is adaptation. Language is flexible, and your personal English must be flexible too. When you hear new sentences in movies, podcasts, or conversations, you can connect them to the groups you already have. Suppose you hear someone say, "I'm not convinced." This sentence belongs to your opinions group. Now your system grows naturally. You do not learn random sentences. You learn with purpose. This organized growth is what makes your system strong and long-lasting. Your system should also reflect your personality. Many learners forget this. They think English is just a collection of rules, but your English is part of who you are. Include sentences that express your mindset, your humor, your style of communication. For example, "Let me think about it." "I want to learn more." "I can try again," or "This is a good challenge for me." These sentences help you connect English with your identity, which increases your motivation and makes speaking feel natural. Simple sentences are also a tool for thinking. When you think in English, even at a basic level, you reduce translation time and improve fluency. Start with small thoughts, such as, "I am hungry," "I am tired," "This place is nice," "I need to finish this," or "I should try again." When these thoughts become automatic, they create the mental pathways necessary for more complex thinking later. Thinking in English is not something advanced learners suddenly start doing. It begins with these small, simple lines repeated daily. A personal English system also gives you stability. Language learning can feel chaotic at times. Some days you learn new words, some days you forget old ones, some days you feel confident, and some days you feel stuck. But your simple sentence system stays with you. It gives you something to return to when you feel lost. It is your personal home in the language, where everything is clear, comfortable, and familiar. This emotional safety is extremely important for long-term success. Finally, your system becomes a long-term companion. As you continue learning, you will add new layers, new ideas, and new sentences. But the foundation remains the same: simple, clear, useful expressions that support real communication. You will look back one day and realize that your fluency did not come from memorizing difficult grammar rules. It came from building a strong base of simple sentences and using them with consistency and confidence. By transforming simple sentences into a personal English system, you create a powerful tool that helps you think, speak, understand, and grow every day. Your progress becomes predictable, your confidence becomes stable, and your communication becomes natural. This is how small steps turn into big results. This is how simple sentences shape a strong English speaking future for you.